Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here, and in this video we're going to be checking out Tiddalick, my magnificent tree frog's terrarium, and giving it a bit of maintenance. So that's right guys, this terrarium has been, or the PALUDARIUM has been kind of running for a better part of probably like 18 months or so now, thereabouts, maybe even a bit longer. And you know, as per the first video that I released on this, it's obviously grown in a lot. And to be honest, I haven't done a lot with it lately, and I've kind of let it go to the wayside. Not neglecting anything per se, I've been doing kind of like my minimal work, cleaning glass, topping off water, that sort of stuff. But it is probably due for a bit of a trim, I dare say. I kind of don't want to do it because it's got like a full jungle vibe going to it, and Tiddalick the frog in there, the magnificent tree frog, she's absolutely loving it. But that being said, I have let the glass and stuff get pretty filthy, so you can kind of see there that there's, you know, horrible hazing and stuff on the glass at the moment. So what we're going to do is just run through some of the basic maintenance that I do, and then probably cap it off with a bit of a trim, and we might even see if Tiddalick's a bit hungry today and see if she wants a bit of a feed. So if you guys happen to be new to the channel and you haven't seen this terrarium before, this is a Get Your Pet Right terrarium. Basically all the gear on this is actually by Get Your Pet Right, or thereabouts anyway. So the terrarium itself is 60 centimeters long, 45 centimeters front to back, and then it's 90 centimeters tall. So it's quite a big box. And it is an awesome box at that. It's got a really sleek design on the actual doors themselves. So it's a nice kind of like small gap, a bit smaller than the Exoterra gap. It's on these nice little square edged corners as well. And yeah, all in all, look, I'm very happy with this box, and I'd definitely buy more of them. They are a fantastic box, real sturdy lids on them, so that there's no kind of like drooping from the lights or anything. Don't worry, we need to clean it up, so we're going to get into that soon. But the other gear that's actually on here that is from Get Your Pet Right is we've actually got a LED bar that's a UVB LED bar. So this one's the 60 centimeter version, and I believe it's the 7%, so it's the light kind of like more forest dwelling animal UVB bar. The other thing that's from Get Your Pet Right on here is we've got a fogger. So the fogger comes on a couple of times a day just to kind of bump up the relative humidity inside of the terrarium itself. But that's not all the gear that we've got on here, believe it or not. We've also got this rain system, which we're going to have to top up because it's actually run dry. But essentially, if we look up here, you can see this little tube. Yeah, well, that's actually a rain system as well, where essentially this is supposed to drip about 30 ml of water every 2 hours onto this terrarium, onto the PALUDARIUM itself. And that's actually controlled with a aquarium doser, which pumps the water through, and it's all tapped into a reservoir down here in this cupboard. There you are. It's really high-tech stuff. It's basically just a container that you can get from any old supermarket or, you know, homeware store or such. And I've basically just drilled a hole into there. I've got a hard rigid pipe there, and then this is connected up to the dosing pump, which then pumps up into the terrarium. Of course, if you want to see any more of this sort of stuff, you can actually go and watch the original build video. I'm still pretty much using all the same gear. The only thing that I'm not using anymore is the actual light to grow the plants that I originally had in here. And that's because it just burnt out. So that was originally a HD prime, a freshwater HD prime, which is made for freshwater aquariums. However, nowadays I'm simply running little cheap LED downlights that you'd actually put in your home. So that's all I'm running above here now. And I do have multiple. I've got, what have I got? I've got 3. Yeah, I've got 3 downlights in here. I think a couple of them are at about 5,000K and one's at about 6,500K. So yeah, real high-tech stuff. It's probably running about $30 worth of lighting, if that, as far as the LEDs go. Over here you can see that we've actually got a heat dome as well. That just happens to be an Exoterra heat dome, which I had kicking around. And I've just got this over on the side here because originally it was burning plants when it was over up the back here. So it's kind of frizzling this one a little bit now. but it just kind of provides a little bit of a warm spot over here that Tiddles can come and sit up here and enjoy herself. But yeah, I think we need to get in and tidy this up. There's a couple of loose plants down here that I just want to kind of string up somewhere or try to put them in somewhere. And yeah, maybe we'll have a little bit of a trim and go from there. So we're being watched at the moment to make sure that my work is up to scratch. Plus somebody, i.e. little Tiddalick down here, she's going to run all over this glass and cause an absolute mess tonight. I can guarantee it. Pretty much whenever I clean this tank, she's guaranteed to be frog splashing, pardon the pun, into the water and then running all over the glass later at night. So if you guys were wondering what I was just using there, I was simply just using dechlorinated tap water. So I just put a few drops of prime into some tap water there just to make sure that it is nice and frog friendly or fish friendly. And then all I've done is just wipe all the hard spots and that off the glass. Man, I hate filming this tank during the day, but I can't really do it at night either because my son's bedroom's on the back here. So if I'm talking like this, I get in trouble. Anyway, you can kind of see now, it is like crystal clear there now. So I'm very happy with how that's turned out. But the next thing that I'm gonna have to do is probably trim up a few of these plants because they've just run rampant everywhere. But I'm gonna be pretty selective, I think, because I don't really want to like hammer it too hard. It's finally starting to look pretty good. And I've got like, you know, like this moss here on this log has come in real crisp, real nice. I've got a few little kind of like philodendrons that are actually starting to take off that just probably just need like propping up more than anything. Sorry, I don't mean to not talk to the camera while I'm looking at this, but there's so much going on in here that I haven't really had a solid look at until now. So I can see kind of like all this new growth and all sorts that is coming through the tank. Obviously you can see all this high stuff up the top here. I'm gonna go grab a pair of scissors and we're just gonna see if we can just dock it a little bit and just kind of straighten it up and potentially just run a few of these philodendrons in better directions. Like, you know, there's still a little bit of a gap up that back wall there that I really want pinned. So maybe I can even tie a philodendron up to the top there. Well, I took a good handful of plants out, but I didn't want to overdo it either, just because it's really just starting to come into its own. I'll get a few close-ups of what's kind of going on inside of this tank for you as well. But what I have just done as well, which you might have caught on that time lapse, I've just put some dechlorinator down in the bottom here, just some C-Chem Prime. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just top up this tank. So usually the rain system kind of keeps this tank topped off between that and the fog, but because the rain system's just recently actually run out of water itself, I'm just going to manually top this off a little bit just to kind of keep the pump under the water for the drip wall that's in the back of this. The drip wall's still going, so that's telling me that we're all okay there. We've still got enough water in there, but I just want to kind of top it off to its normal level that I usually have it at, which is not usually heaps. It's kind of just a few inches, not even. Probably a little bit more than that, to be honest. And then what we'll do is we'll top off the rainwater tank as well. Okay, that'll just about do that water top off in there. You can see down here I've actually got some Ficus pumila kicking around too. That just came out of a fish tank that I've kind of got on the go at the moment, where I just wanted to put it somewhere. I don't mind if it actually goes into here. I've got a little bit growing in here as it is, but it doesn't tend to get a lot of light because of the philodendrons and the pothos and stuff like that. But I want to kind of keep that because, I don't know, I'm toying with the idea of getting another frog. I don't know. Maybe you should let me know what you think, because I could just be thinking silly, couldn't I? You know, frogs are a bit of work, and I'm lucky that I got a girl that doesn't croak right now. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Should I get another frog? So yeah, you can kind of see this little reservoir down here. It's just kind of in this cupboard that's just got all sorts of junk in it, to be quite frank. My life is a mess, I'll tell you that. So anyway, I'll just drop a bit of dechlorinator in here. Actually, we go the full hog there, and then we'll be able to top that up. and then we'll show you how to prime the rain system, and we'll get that working. Whoop. All right, she's good to go. I'm just holding my finger down on the dosing pump onto a particular button and just making sure that this is kind of running through. Now you can see that the drip is actually working. A little bit different with the doors open, of course. It means some of that water is actually making its way out, but that's okay. You can kind of get a little bit of an idea about how that works. Essentially, I'm just priming that pump to make sure that it's working. So yeah, that was about under 15 minutes worth of maintenance, and it probably would have been less, to be honest, if I didn't have the camera recording as well. Oh, here you go. The drip has actually come on right now. How good's that look? It's all for you, darling. All for you. Look at that happy little frog. You see how this tank's definitely grown in a lot, and in particular, even just things like the moss on this piece of wood here, even the moss that's up on here is starting to kind of take off as well. But I hope that this has been kind of chasing its way back towards that back wall. So I hope it actually gets a hold of that soon too. So hopefully this whole thing can just become kind of like different shades of green, essentially, and different textures of green. Down here we can see Tiddalick's pond. Obviously it's got that ficus pumila and stuff in there at the moment. But yeah, it's just a basic little pond that essentially she can come and hang out in, which she does pretty much every night. And yeah, she bounces all around this tank and uses absolutely every inch of it. I quite often, now that these plants have grown up the top here, she'll be in and amongst all these plants, as well as kind of like if she gets a little bit too cold or just wants to get away, she'll hide down the back down here. But yeah, she kind of makes her own way around this tank, and rightfully so. I mean, it is her home at the end of the day, so she's got to be happy with it. And yeah, she seems to be loving it, to be honest. Well, the main star of the show has definitely decided to grace us with her wondrous amphibious presence, and here she is in all of her glory. I will actually see if she wants to have a little feed. I've got something as a bit of a treat, actually a very rare treat that I'll ever give her. But I've got a little pinky mouse to see if she wants to eat that. It's got a little bit of freezer burn on it, but I'm sure it'll be just fine if she wants it. Let's see. Oh. Yeah. Whoop. In or out, mate. In or out. She's only had a few of these in her lifetime. I want to say I've probably given her less than 4, including that one. So that is a bit of a rare treat for this little froggy. How fun was that? And she looks so good in her newly cleaned paludarium. Man, it's looking crisp now. There is no denying that, and I can't wait to sit down tonight, probably with a cold beer, and just watch this little frog do her thing in her environment and enjoy her little life.
You are now in the presence of a king.
I honestly forget a few of the names of these plants in here. I want to say this is a type of pothos or philodendron from memory. I'm not really that crash up with plants. There is like a silver philodendron down here. There's a Monstera addisoni that's kind of grown in over here a bit. Obviously we've got that ficus pumila, Java moss that's going on here. Yeah, there's a few bits and pieces happening to it, but man, doesn't she just look regal in her tank? Well, from me, my little buddy here, I hope you enjoyed this maintenance video. Just a bit of a short video, a bit of an update on little Tiddalick here, my magnificent tree frog. And she surely is magnificent. I absolutely love this little frog. I'm blessed to have this little girl in my life. She's an absolute hoot, and my son loves her, my wife loves her. This tank just kind of looks like a bit of a centerpiece in our lounge room too. Well guys, if you want to support the channel, don't forget to give the video a comment down below. Let me know your favorite frog species, or if I should get another frog, what kind of one to get. Now, remembering I can only get an Australian species. Also, remember to like the video as well. drop me a subscription if you did want to follow along for more reptile related content. And if you want to go that next step further, you can go and get merchandise over on Teespring, as well as join over on Patreon or become a YouTube member. Until the next one, guys, take it easy. I'll catch you then. Bye, Tiddles.
You are now in the presence of a